This is a planning model created by Horn, Palmer, Butera, and Lieber to help preschool teachers build an inclusive curriculum. When we say inclusive, we are talking about making sure every child, whether they have disabilities, language differences, or just unique learning styles, can access and succeed in learning. This framework gives us a cycle that blends planning, teaching, monitoring, and reflecting. Remember, the goal here isn't to add more work, it's to make planning more intentional and more effective. Step one is about laying the foundation for everything else. Scope is the what, the content and skills you want children to learn. Sequence is the when and in what order those skills will be introduced and revisited. Together, they make sure learning is organized and purposeful. A substantial scope and sequence prevent teaching from feeling random or pieced together. It also helps align your work with early learning standards, which is essential for consistency across classrooms. Think of it as a roadmap. It shows you where you're headed and the path you'll take to get there. Without a clear scope and sequence, it's easy to get off track or repeat tasks without making progress. This step is the anchor for everything that comes after in the CSS process. Once you know what you're teaching and when, step two helps you think about how it all fits together. The word here is coherence, making sure lessons connect and flow instead of feeling like one-off activities. Integration is another key piece, combining learning across different domains. For example, if you're doing a gardening project, you're not just teaching science. You might also weave in math by measuring soil or literacy by writing garden labels. When curriculum is integrated, children see connections and learning feels more meaningful. It also reflects how children naturally learn through experiences that mix concepts. This step encourages us to avoid teaching in silos and to look for authentic, real-world projects that tie it all together. Step three is all about Universal Design for Learning, commonly called UDL. The idea is to design activities so all children can participate from the start. UDL rests on three principles: engagement, representation, and action or expression. Engagement is about motivating children in different ways, maybe with choices, games, or social interaction. Representation is giving information in multiple formats: pictures, movement, stories, and technology. Action and expression means children have different ways to show what they know: drawing, building, talking, or role play. Think about story time. Some children might act out the story with puppets, others might retell it verbally, and others might draw a picture about it. By planning with UDL in mind, you can reduce the need to retrofit supports later. UDL is about building access right into the design, not adding it after the fact. Now, even with UDL built in, we know some children will need more support, and that's where step four comes in. Differentiation means adjusting activities for groups or the whole class. This could be as simple as giving one group extra visuals or more time to complete a task. Individualization, on the other hand, is tailoring the plan for one specific child. That might mean adapting an activity so a child can use an AAC device or aligning it with the child's IEP goal. The big difference here is that differentiation is more general, while individualization is very specific. Both are about making sure children aren't left out of the experience. This step pushes us to double check our activity plans and ask, will every child be able to take part and make progress? It's about equity, not uniformity. Step five is where we bring in progress monitoring, and this is really the feedback loop of the framework. Once we've planned and taught, we need to know if children are actually learning what we set out to teach. That means collecting data in some way, whether through checklists, observations, work samples, or tools like the goal attainment scaling in the textbook. Monitoring should cover both class-wide outcomes and individual child goals. It doesn't have to be complicated, but it does have to be consistent. Think of it as checking the dashboard while you're driving. You want to know if you're on course or if you need to make adjustments. The data helps teachers decide when to change strategies, add more support, or even pull back support if a child is excelling. Without this step, we are guessing instead of making informed decisions. Step 6 brings us to reflection, which closes the loop but also starts the next cycle. Here, teachers review the data, think about what worked well, and identify what needs to change. Reflection isn't just about problems, it's also about celebrating success and noticing progress. This can be done individually with your teaching team or even with family input. Questions you might ask include, were the children engaged? Did they meet the goals? Did my support actually help? Reflection is where professional growth occurs as you look honestly at your teaching methods. The insights you gain here are directly applied to planning the next round of instruction. It's a cycle of continuous improvement that keeps teaching responsive and effective. The CSS framework is a cycle of 6 steps. The cycle starts with scope and sequence, then moves to integration, UDL planning, differentiation and individualization, progress monitoring, and finally reflection. Each step builds on the last, but together they form a loop that keeps instruction intentional and inclusive. The beauty of this process is that it's flexible. It can be adapted to various classrooms and programs. It's not about extra paperwork or rigid rules. It's about creating a roadmap that ensures access, participation, and growth for every child. Remember, inclusion is not just about placing children in the classroom. It's about ensuring they can truly learn and thrive there. This framework gives us the opportunity to make that happen.